I was born in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, before it became Williamsburg, Brooklyn. I am a cousin of Martin Luther King, believe it or not. What you do is you try to figure out what might work, and sometimes and oftentimes, and you should fail, and you learn from that. I would say with people, if they want to get involved, understand you don't have all the answers, but you do have the privilege to ask a lot of questions.
Welcome to another episode of the Neir's Community Leaders Show, the show highlighting those community leaders that are doing inspiring work and in hopes of inspiring others to also do inspiring work. I'm your host, Loycent Gordon, and this show is sponsored by the Neir's Ambassadors Club, a social club for social good that supports Neir's Tavern on Vote 200. And so with that being said, I want to invite my first guest up onto his hot seat, like I always say. And this gentleman has been a community advocate for so long. He's not really from Woodhaven, I found out. He's been lying to us the whole time. No, I will get into that. But he's been a real impact in Woodhaven. And I want to talk to him a little about some of that impact. So my next guest is Vance Barbour.
Hello, is this?
You feel like it's a Johnny Carson thing going on?
Yeah, I love Johnny Carson.
All right, good. Check this out. Make sure you could talk there.
Can you hear me now?
You can hear me now. Where is it? Not sponsoring this show. Yeah, sure, because he just mentioned a brand name. Are you always plugging brands, usually?
Yeah, I tried to. I watch too much TV. That's the problem.
All right, beautiful. So listen, welcome. Could you please just officially tell people who you are?
Sure.
The title of the Woodhaven, what's...
Sure, you don't want to focus. My name is Vance Barbour. I'm a director of the Woodhaven Residents Block Association, and I was the founder of the Great Woodhaven Yard Sale, which has become... Yeah, thank you.
Oh, you got a round of applause.
Which has actually become quite successful.
Right. It is.
Yeah.
And I want to get into that, but as I said before, you're not a Woodhavenite.
Oh, the truth is out. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Tell me about that. Where were you raised? Where were you born? How did you get here?
I was born in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, before it became Williamsburg, Brooklyn. So I figured if I was going to move to somewhere, it would have to start with a W.
Is that how it is?
No.
Okay. Where's the W's in New York City? Woodside. Right.
Yeah, no, I moved here because I married a lifelong Woodhaven resident who I met when I first started working. And we didn't go out early on, but later on we did, and we reconnected. And I came back here and I fell in love with the place, and I've been here for 36 years.
36 years in Woodhaven. And so I've noticed that some people, when you're not from a country, sometimes you also may equally, and sometimes even more than it for some reason. And you have not been someone that have sit by lazily and just enjoy the beauty of Woodhaven. Can you tell us a little bit about the activities that you've been doing day in and day out, volunteering?
Yeah. It's funny. As you said, I started sitting around. I was work, come home, and then, as you become more invested in the community, you see problems. So like everyone, or like many other people do, I just started to go to local block association meetings. And I was sitting down there in the audience, and I was talking with our elected officials, and I was peppering them with questions. And the more I got involved in that, the more people noticed me and said, would you like to do this? Would you like to do that? And I was invited onto the block association at first. And I got involved in a lot of different things there. We did, you see these signs on posts and stuff like that, cars for sale or houses for sale, eyesores or stuff like that. So we go around, take those things down. We work with people. So I did a lot, and it started very small, but it was mostly problem solving. So I thought we needed something more fun.
It's funny. Oftentimes people that see the problems in the neighborhood, but just keep on going, right? we all have busy lives and it's granted. But tell us why you actually, I mean, most people don't really do that, right? What was the one thing that you think that said, you know what, I'm going to keep getting involved? Was there a reason or something that happened, a story that,
Yeah, I can tell this. I didn't really give it a lot of thought, but since you mention it now, I think the thing that happened most was we were going through somewhat of a financial crisis in the city in the mid 2000s, and I joined the Block Association in 2005. But I thought that there was a better way the city could do things, that we weren't hearing a lot about how the money was being spent.
right?
So what I did then is I looked into it myself, and I saw that, hey, you know what? There's a lot of mystery behind the numbers. So it was that really wanted me to question our elected officials.
So essentially, you were chasing the money. Where is the money?
Rolling the money.
Where is the money? I need to find out where's my tax dollars going. And so you got involved and started finding other problems in the neighborhood.
Yeah. I mean, one of the big problems I found out was like 10% of the city budget was miscellaneous in their actual budget online. And I started to question our elected officials about that.
I want to be part of that miscellaneous.
Yeah.
How much you think is that miscellaneous, but like in dollar values?
I want $4 billion of miscellaneous.
$4 billion of miscellaneous money.
That's a lot of miscellaneous. I agree.
So obviously that, created something in you to really try to help a little bit more and solve some of these problems. And you did. Who are some of the people that you actually could say, you know what, I've helped these community people. I've done something good for them. Is there a particular population of people you think are the most, you've done the most impact for, that you feel good about?
Well, yeah, I guess you could say, it all starts at home, like on my street, right? When people had complaints, they came to me. And a lot of those complaints, as it is with now, had to do with parking. And we had people on the street who just started to just change their fronts into driveways and stuff like that. And people came to me to complain. So I would actually help save them by there was unscrupulous contractors come in who wanted to change their front into an illegal parking spot. And I would tell them, don't do that because you're going to get fined. And I saved them from doing something that they shouldn't have done because some unscrupulous contractor did that.
Right. They take your money. So I think it's important for you guys to understand that, Woodhaven, first of all, has plenty of parking.
Said no one ever.
But so people were trying to make a way to actually find a way to put their car. They own these houses. They don't actually have a parking spot, but you own a house. And so they were trying to create a way to create another parking spot. The contractors took their money.
Yeah.
And you're like, this shouldn't happen.
Right. Exactly. And it shouldn't happen because you're literally reserving your spot because you now have a driveway. Even when you're not there, no one can park there. It's a first come, first serve. And that is illegal in New York City unless you go through proper channels. And you can't go through those channels now because they don't really allow it. And contractors were doing that for thousands and thousands of dollars.
Now, you're a man of arts as well. And your wife is also a person of the arts.
She's the real artist in the family. Yeah, my wife is a poet.
Your wife is a poet. And then she's gotten some accolades and things as well.
Yeah. She was honored by Assemblywoman Jennifer Rajkumar as a distinguished woman this year. Earlier this year, she received a proclamation. She just came out with her first book this year. It's called The Poet's Owl.
Hold on. Give it up for that. The Poet's Owl.
The Poet's Owl by Vance Barbour, yes.
Right. And so, what is your artistry? Is she the only artist in the family?
Well, my artistry goes a little way back. I did draw when I was young. My father drew. He was an incredible artist. But I actually used to play saxophone. I played alto saxophone in the school band. It started out first as a recorder. And then when I went on further to middle school, I realized that the fingerings for saxophone were the same, and I took saxophone. I'm actually in touch with my teacher still to this day,
really,
who taught.
What grade did your teacher give you?
Believe it or not, when I got out of school, I got a 99 for music, and I won the medal for the best musician in the school. And he said the only reason I didn't get 100 because he doesn't give 100.
You got 100 today. You got 100 today. And then you also have another passion about genealogy. Now, can you tell me, though, this guy had unearthed every historical figure and found a way that he's related to them somehow. Even if it's the 1969th cousin removed. But I think it's so wonderful. Can you tell us,
Sure.
what's a person, the most interesting person that you're related to, even if it's the 2000th removed cousin?
Wow. Interesting. There's a lot of interesting people that I'm related to. There are people who are famous because of sports.
Well, give me one that you think is really important that you're like, wow, I'm related to that person.
Okay? Martin Luther King.
What?
Yes, I am a cousin of Martin Luther King, believe it or not. I'm honored to be a cousin of Martin Luther King because he's not famous for his bloodline. He's not famous for what he's done in sports or business. He's famous for what he's done for the human race.
Yes. Yeah.
And yes.
Can I say that I found the secret of your community leadership?
That could be very well.
King runs through your veins.
He does. And his family runs through my veins. Yes.
I think the point that is important to make is that we are all connected. We're all so connected. And it's not just you saying that you're connected to Napoleon or some other historical figure or Martin Luther King. Is to show you how connected we are as a human race. And this is the idea, I think, that we're trying to get across here. This is what community is about, right?
It definitely is. And when I do like postings online and everything, I do it tongue in cheek because I'm just a regular guy from Brooklyn who wants to do as best as I can while I'm on the space of this earth.
You know, one of the things that you did, which was very empowering for Neir's Tavern, there are a few people that stand out in my 14 years operating Neir's Tavern. And in the beginning, largely by myself, until I was able to convince folks that this place is important, was that you took action to actually started working with us in some way. You were also the president of the Woodhaven Resident Block Association as well, right?
Yes, back in 2009, when you guys were really putting this all together, before that long climb, I was the president. And I did some things that made the Block Association a little bit more known in the public. And one of those things led to you guys actually contacting me.
And he has helped keep Neir's Tavern going in his own individual way. And I thank you. And also your birthday was, I got it for me. Thank you. I'm officially an old man now. So we're all growing up. And you're a little bit more grown up than I.
Yeah.
Alex. We're all growing up. So, I really want you to share, a takeaway that you think can maybe help others in their journey of doing things that you've done to help the community, whether it's someone, and I did the ticket for creating a new parking spot in Woodhaven or whatever, or joining the Block Associations and becoming the president, going out and actually removing those graffiti signs and everything. Like, what are some tips to actually help others to be inspired to say you can also take action to help your local community?
Yeah, I mean, remember, when I was the president, we were 1/10 of the organization we are now. I mean, what I did is nothing compared to the leadership of like what Martin is doing now. His literally his hands are in everything. But what you do is you try to figure out what might work, and sometimes and oftentimes, and you should fail, and you learn from that. I mean, the great Woodhaven yard sale is a perfect example. When we first started this, it took off, and then it just fell off a cliff. People got tired of it, and I was trying to find out what we did wrong, and I didn't have the answers. the people who participated in the block, in the yard sale had the answers. And I talked with them and we found out what went wrong and we rebuilt it. And then as with Neir's, you hit the pandemic and you hit a brick wall,
Right.
and you had to put things on hold. Of course, with the block, with the yard sale, it was a little different. We didn't have to keep a business running, but we had to think how to make it better when we came out. And we did. And we made it the most successful it ever was last year by just tweaking little things after talking with the participants. I would say with people, if they want to get involved, understand you don't have all the answers, but you do have the privilege to ask a lot of questions. And if you do that, you'll be fine. You'll do just fine.
Wonderful words. I think, if enough said, this community yard sale, I think, is an incredible act of contribution to the community. And you created a record for at least how many you have. Can you tell us about how many you started with? How many we break the record with this year?
We started with a handful. We started with a couple of dozen households. This was literally 10 years ago in 2013. And we slowly but surely built up. And then we started to fade off. And then we made the changes and we started to promote it in different ways. Actually, we took a cue from what you guys did. We use social media a lot more. No, I mean, like I said, you learn all the time from everyone.
Yeah.
And we actually had 86 households. There is no other place in New York City that has 86 households having a yard sale at the exact same time. And after the yard sale was over, I communicated with the people participating. They had record sales. They normally would hold yard sales on their own, and they were making hundreds of dollars. You don't make hundreds of dollars at a yard sale. You make $50, $60. One person told me they made $700 at this year's yard sale. That's crazy.
Wow. So you went from what, like a dozen of
24
to now 86. And also, instead of people making the $50, $60, $100, people are making up to $700 by doing this yard sale together as a community. And you did that.
Well, no, I didn't do it. I just coordinated it. It's everyone who participated in it.
I love it. I love it. We did take turn. Congratulations. I'm inspired by that. You actually brought so many people together that now people are looking forward to that yard sale every year.
Yeah, it's a big thing. People get together. People come from outside the community, come here and see what a great place Woodhaven is. So we're doing multiple good things for the community.
And with that, I also want to thank you for being an official Neir's Tavern ambassador.
Yeah, I'm happy to have my name up there.
Your name is up there because when things was dark, you stood up and I said, I'm still here. And you contributed in such a way that I said, I'm going to put your name up there one day. It's almost like a promise ring. It doesn't look pretty right now, but one day I'm going to make it really nice.
Oh, it looks fantastic. I'm not a big person for the spotlight, so I appreciate
I know that a little thing, but I'll put you on because you deserve it. Thank you very much. And thank you, Elm, for watching this sort of show. I see it. Thank you, Vance.
Thank you, like.
Thank you for another episode of the Community Leaders Show. I want to thank fans and thanks to the Neir's Tavern ambassadors for sponsoring this show. I appreciate it. And as always, community conquers all.